Hello, this is Liz. Happy Monday. Hope you all are doing well and have had a great weekend. Welcome to Director Day, and we're going to talk about one of the hardest working directors in Hollywood today, and that is Ava DuVernay. And you've probably seen her everywhere on TV, at award shows, in the movies. She is someone that has become, in a few short years, a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood, and for someone like her, that is fairly rare. So let's start with the basics. She was born August 24th in 1972 in Long Beach, California. She grew up near Compton with her mom, who was a teacher, and her stepfather. And when she was younger, she would visit the childhood home of her father in Alabama. And he actually grew up near Selma, and he witnessed the 1965 Selma marches. She also said that she had an aunt, Denise, whom she credits with fostering a love of both art and activism, which, of course, we see in her films. So for school, she went to UCLA and she got a double major, but not in film. Her double major was in English and then in African American studies. And her first interest is journalism, but she came disillusioned with that. She actually was assigned to cover the OJ trial. And after journalism, she went into marketing and PR. So she's kind of worked her way around a bunch of different areas, which is probably why she's so great at kind of networking and advocating for herself in Hollywood. So she actually got her start making short films, and her first two full-length films were documentaries. It was This Is Life: How the West Was Won, and Compton: Life in C Minor. But her first full-length feature film was called I Will Follow, and that came out in 2010. And that was well received with critics. But her bigger break came in 2012 with her film The Middle of Nowhere, which is about a woman coming to terms with her husband's prison sentence. And she won Best Director at Sundance, so that gave her a little bit more clout. Her mainstream breakthrough, the one that got everyone noticing her, was 2014-15 with the film Selma, which is about the Selma 1965 Selma marches. And not only became famous because very well received by critics and by audiences, but when the 2015 Oscar nominations were announced and Selma was barely present, that was one of the reasons the Oscar So White hashtag campaign was started, because people were really expecting, at least, maybe best writing nomination, and all it got, I think, was best picture and best song. And I think a lot of people were expecting, like, considering she has made such a splash and she's very good at networking, that Ava DuVernay might actually be the first Black woman nominated for Best Director. So that happened. I mean, she took that in stride, and in 2016 she went back to directing documentaries with the Netflix documentary The 13th, and that is about the mass incarceration and the prison system in the United States. And she even got activist Angela Davis to sit in on that. And that actually did warrant her an Oscar nomination with Best Documentary. However, that was the year OJ Made in America came out, and that just couldn't be stopped in terms of winning the award. 2018, she directed a modern day take on Madeleine L'Engle's classic book, A Wrinkle in Time, a movie I liked. I think it's a little flawed, but I do like that it is a modern, sort of very in the moment 2018 take on that book. And she was the first Black woman to direct a picture that made over $100 million. dollars. And I think she was also the first Black woman to make a film that cost over $100 million. dollars. She's also had other work, mainly in television. If you watch the show Queen Sugar, she directed the pilot and produces that. She also directed the fantastic Netflix miniseries and wrote When They See Us, which is about the Central Park Five, a dramatization on that. And that actually got some heat last year because of the one of the people portrayed in it, Linda Fairstein, was not happy with how she was portrayed, but as Ava DuVernay said, I just went with what was documented. And she recently has produced the new show Cherish the Day. In her upcoming work, she is going to be going back into the sci-fi fantasy world again, directing New Gods for DC, and famed comic writer Tom King is going to be writing it. I personally am very excited for that. What are her other tasks? Well, producing. She doesn't direct every episode of Queen Sugar, but she still produces it. And fun fact, she helped J.J. Abrams cut and edit the lightsaber scenes for The Force Awakens. It really does seem like she's a person who would say, is there anything she can't do? So, why is she important? Well, again, black voice in filmmaking. Filmmaking is getting more diverse, but in America, for a very long time, majority of the voices in it are white and male. And like Spike Lee, she is dedicated to making films and shows about the Black experience or just centering on Black characters. Wrinkle in Time really isn't a movie that has anything to do with race specifically, but she just decided, hey, I am going to make this girl mixed. Why not? There's no reason Megan has to be white. And I actually thought that was pretty cool. Another thing she does, which I personally, as someone who likes film and does care about women in film, she actually uses her position to give other women a chance at filmmaking. So for shows like Queen Sugar, she'll say, hey, women who want to direct, women who like to edit, women who are production assistants, come work for this show. I'll give you a shot. And that's one of the hardest things for filmmaking in general, is getting that foot in the door. And television, for a lot of people, is a foot in the door. So she is using her position and her power to help other people. So I think that's fantastic, and I think she just brings a very unique voice as well. Earlier, in one article, she said her aunt fostered not only a love of art but of activism, and she says that she likes to meld the both in her filmmaking. And you see that in Selma, you see that in Middle of Nowhere, you definitely see that in The 13th. So she's not just someone who wants to make art. She's someone who wants to make art that encourages people to either read up on something that happened in the past. For, if you're young, if you're like a 15-year-old and you're watching Selma, she wants you to go read up on that and learn more about these people. Heck, I watched it and I'm like, oh, I've only heard some of these people's names in passing. I should find out more about who they are and what they did. Or something like The 13th. She wants to encourage people to actually look into, problems with mass incarceration, or maybe someone is going to read Angela Davis for the first time. And again, as I think a lot of people have said, all art is political in some way. So the idea of let's get politics out of art is kind of a silly one. But art is not just about entertainment in many cases, it is about education. So I think the fact that she does that, and she is not only willing to do that for herself, but hold the door open for other people who want to do that as well, makes her a very important voice in filmmaking today. So where would I start? Luckily, a lot of her work is available via streaming. If you want to watch Queen Sugar, that is on Hulu. If you want to watch The 13th or When They See Us, that is on Netflix. I think Selma, it is only, you can only rent it. I don't think it's streaming for anywhere. However, Derry Public Library does have a copy, and we are doing curbside pickup, so if you want to take the time to watch it, you can put it on hold. But I would definitely say check out her stuff, and like a lot of comic nerds, I am looking forward to see what she does with New Gods for DC. So I hope you all have a great day, and I will be back tomorrow with What's on Netflix. Bye!